Now that the player character has a getHit event implemented, we want to have a state that happens if the character gets hit enough. In other words, takes enough damage, and that would be the death state. So we're going to start off by modifying the getHit custom event. We're going to add some booleans to the event graph as a whole as well. So we'll go into our variables. We'll add a new boolean, is dead, the final boolean you could call it. And on this check right here for getHit, on is hit true or false, we're also going to check is dead at this point. And we'll do an or branch check here. Either of these is true, do nothing. If either of these is false, do something. Okay, now this is at this point in the getHit phase, we're going to have to check a way of if the player is damaged or killed. So to that end, we're going to have to create a health state. We're going to use a float to represent a health number. And we'll start off the health with a default value of, say, 100. What we'll do is, when the getHit event is called, we want it to be able to feed a damage value to it as well. So to do that, on the inputs, we're going to add a float value. We're going to name this damage. So what we'll do is, the damage will come in, and we'll do float minus float. We want to subtract the damage value from the health value, like so. And then we want to set the health as that new result. I need more room yet to do this, so I'll back these up. And then when the health is less than or equal to 0, we'll do another branch check. If the result is true, player is dead. So we'll do a branch check there. True means is dead, and false means is merely hit. So is dead we'll set to true here. And after is dead, we'll set the result to is hit as well. So we'll have two results there. That way we can use the is hit variable throughout the rest of the event graph to check before running into other movement states or shooting or anything like that. And it's a good way to connect it because we still want to lock all the rotations here before we do some either death or hit stuff. Afterwards, after manage controller, we want to do another branch check. And again, we want to check if is dead is true. If it is not true, we go about the regular hit reaction we already set up. If it's false, I should say is dead, yeah, if dead is true, we want to set a flip book here. Let's see, set flip book. And this will be a new animation we need to create for a death event. And after we set our future flipbook for the death event, we want to start it playing. So by default, we're going to use the play from start node here. I found whenever you want an animation that you know you want to start at its first frame, it's always better to use play from start instead of just the play node. It avoids confusion. And if you've had it set to looping or not, you still know that it's going to start from the start and not play at all or not play from some other position. Now that this reconnects back to the rest of our event, we still get the force and the flashing effect that we set up before. And that should be that. Now, this is dead boolean is important. We need to go through the rest of the event graph and plug this into some branch checks to make sure the whole situation works properly. One thing we need to do is we need to stop player movement. So for input axis move right, we're also going to make is dead a condition. So we'll add another OR pin to this. If is dead is false, input is allowed. We're also going to need to do a little bit of modification on our jump here. If you recall, we set up input action jump to set up is jumping, true and false, false on event on landed. So because we're going to have one animation which represents the dying, the movement before dying, and another animation which is the final state, this sort of prone dead body, we want to do a branch check here off of event on landed. So we'll do is dead, and then a branch check on that Boolean as well. If it's false, that means the landing is probably coming from jumping because we haven't set anything else up. So we can set jumping to false. If it's true, we're going to set a flipbook for the final death animation. For our case, it will just be a one-frame animation of the dead body. And let's look at our get hit event one last time. I believe there's one other variable we need to check, and yes, there is. Right here, we don't want is hit to be set to false because up in our state machine, if is hit is false, that means the anim state machine is running on a loop again. So we want to keep that false. So we'll do another branch check here in our get hit event. And what we'll do here is after the timeline, we just do is dead get and the branch there. And when it's finished, I should say when our flashing's finished, we do the is dead check here. And then if it's false, character's still alive. We wait for this animation to stop playing. Actually, no, we don't want that. This one can go right there. And that should maintain the dead body lying there at the very end of the whole death event. So now we just need some animations to set up once the get hit and then death state is reached.